Hello! Welcome to my channel. My name is Krista Llewellyn and I am a makeup artist and makeup educator. And today I'm going to be doing a makeup based fully on the Colourpop Sailor Moon palette. So I know I'm late to the game, but I have my very exciting Sailor Moon Colourpop palette. I ordered it a few weeks ago. I know that it kept selling out for the longest time, so as soon as I saw that it was available, I went to grab it, as well as some glitter from them as well. My plan for today is to do makeup. It's gonna be a little bit of a heightened natural makeup. I want to do something that is more reminiscent of Serena or Usagi. So I'm going to be doing kind of just like a basic makeup, but I want to use this palette exclusively. So aside from my foundation, my concealer, and my eyebrows, everything's going to be out of the colors of this palette. So that will be a fun little trick that I'll show you of how to use just eyeshadows for things like blushes and lipsticks and things like that. And I'm really excited to get going with this. So talking about the palette first, I love this packaging. It has a little movement on there. And this is one of my most used gifts, is Sailor Moon heart eyes. And I have already dipped into this palette a little bit, but there's lots of really fun colors in here. Most of them do have a little bit of a shine or a shimmer to them. Even the matte ones have a little bit of glitter inside of them. So yeah, it's gonna be exciting. I'm gonna go ahead and get started with this palette. First, I want to put my hair up, and I'm gonna pin my bangs back so that they maybe act a little bit more like Usagi's. As I'm doing this, I also want to talk about there's a lot happening in our country right now. There's a lot of discrimination against Asian people because of the coronavirus, the misrepresentation that people like our former president have called the virus, and you know, there's been lots of blatant racism throughout the history of America, but especially right now there's a bit of an uptick in hate crimes against the Asian community. As someone who has lots of friends, loved ones who are part of that community, as you are someone who consumes that kind of media, who enjoys any sort of that culture, you need to be standing up and supporting the Asian community right now. So I will list below a couple of links where you can donate or how you can help, but I just wanted to address that before we got into the full makeup of things. Yeah, I don't know what else much to say because it makes me very, very angry. So I've already done my base foundation, which is weird for me because I'm usually someone who does my foundation after I do my eyes. That way, in case there's any fallout, I don't have issues with that. But since this is going to be a bit more of a natural look, we don't have to worry too much about that. My foundation's on, my brows are on, my concealer's on. I'm going to go in with a little bit of eye primer, and I'm just using my NYX High Definition Eyeshadow Primer. A lot of the products that I'm going to use today are my own personal products, so things that are in my personal makeup kit and not my professional makeup kit. Always important to keep those separate. A little bit of priming on there. My first color that I'm going to start is this Shining Moon color. Get that onto my brush, tap out any extra, and just pat that in the center of my eye and going towards the middle. A little bit over into the side too. And for any of your base colors, you want to just pat them on. You don't really want to swipe. You just sort of want to pat that color onto there, and that's what gives the most pigment. Let me zoom in the camera. I forgot to do that. There we go. Let's just pretend like that was there the whole time. In the center, maybe going a little bit over, and then towards the center of the face. Next, I'm going to get a little bit of this Moon Castle shade. I'm going to put that right in the corners, the outer corners, sort of starting to shape out the eye, going along my crease line. What I like to do first when I'm doing this crease shadow is I'll sort of pat it in and then start to blend it up and out. That way you get that color buildup right in the corner there, and then everything else just blends out. A nice soft crease going on. I think I'm gonna add a little bit of this Miracle Romance, so this pinky purpley color, just in that little V there. And this one does turn out more pink than purple. I just want to add it in there to get a little bit more shadow in there. Add a bit more Moon Castle on there to blend it up and out. So I had that Miracle Romance in those corners there, just adds a little hint of a darker shade right in the corner. We have this full moon color, which is a gold, which I'm gonna just tap in the center of my eyelid. Just give a little sparkle. Blending it in with the full moon castle. I wanna add that full moon castle right underneath in here as well. Now this brush did have a little bit of the Miracle Romance on it, which is good because I wanted to bind those guys, but just get a little bit underneath to balance out the makeup. And blend it out. Next, I think I'm gonna add just a little bit of Luna to my lash line. And Luna is this sparkly purple color. I wanna use this a little bit like a liner. I'm gonna add a hint of the Miracle Romance as well, just to deepen it. I'm just going from the outer corner towards the center of my eye. Really getting it deep into the lash line there. That just adds a little bit of a pop of color, the lash line. Now I'm gonna add Silver Millennium to my brow bone and to the inner corners. And again, especially with shimmers or glitters, the best way to apply it is to pat it on. With any eyeshadows really, but especially for glitters and shimmers. And I'm especially getting in this lower inner corner right here to sort of brighten my eyes a bit, make them look more awake. Just gonna add a little bit more about Moon Castle, really blending things up. For my eye shape, I always like putting a little bit of color up underneath my brow bone there where it meets my nose. So those are the eyes. Pretty simple, nice and colorful. It's a really nice like summer spring look, especially all of these really bright colors. Now that we've got our eyes done, I'm gonna go in and start to do blush. So I'm gonna take my palette and a little blush brush. Wow, that is so hard to say. Blush brush. You know what? I'm taking a brush. I'm getting a poofy brush. Use it on your cheek, a cheek brush. So I'm gonna take my brush and I'm going to kind of go in between Love, Miracle Romance, and Silver Crystal, sort of formulating my own blush color here. And I'm gonna put it sort of lower on my cheeks here. What I'm trying to simulate is sort of when Rina or Usagi gets really either embarrassed or happy. I see it on here. She has the blush going from like right up in here, not so much down on the apples of her cheeks. And I like doing blush this high up on my cheeks personally anyways. My face is really small, and so whenever I put blush like right on the actual apples of my cheeks, it really brings my face down and it looks weird. So I found that putting blush up a little bit higher helps with my face shape. You can see these colors are really nice. They're nice and pigmented, but you can also sort of blend them out and make them look a little softer or something like a blush. Adding a little more color towards the center. Then I'm gonna take a fan brush and that Silver Millennium color. I'm gonna use that as my highlight. So it's pretty sparkly. I'm gonna add it to the tops of my cheeks here. Yeah, I'd say this one is more of a sparkle highlight than a proper shimmer highlight. It's much more of like those individual little sparkles as opposed to a shimmer. I'm gonna add a little bit of that Silver Millennium to my Cupid's bow. Give that a little shine, a little sparkle. Tip of my nose. Really get nice and shiny. Now the next thing I'm gonna do is mix up a color for my lips. Now how I'm gonna do that is I'm going to take, I think this Tuxedo Rose color, this nice peachy color. I'm going to scrape off a little bit of that onto my palette and mix it in with a clear gloss. So scraping a little bit of that onto a palette. Then I'm gonna use some Smith's Rosebud Salve as my gloss. Get a dollop of that, and I'm mixing the pigment into it. Like so. Now since this isn't like a full pigmented color, I don't want to go so far outside of my natural lip line. But as you can see, it makes like a really nice, soft, pretty, sort of peachy lip color. Cool, so I'm just going to put a little bit of mascara on, curling my lashes first. I'm gonna use my Pacifica Highest Lash Mascara. I'm gonna put 2 layers of this. Always good to add a layer, let it dry, then add another layer for extra oomph. Bottom lashes too. And again, all of this is my personal stuff. I'm allowed to double dip into here. If you're working on a client, never, ever, ever double dip. Then focus that second layer towards the outer corner. And then the piece de resistance, I'm going to add a little bit of glitter to the top of my cheeks, just to, you know, get that full cinnamon vibe. Also, I want to point out that this glitter in particular smells exactly like Limited 2. As a young child, I was full into Limited 2. The entire store smelled like this. And I don't know what it is. It just basically smells like cheap body glitter, but you know, memories. So I'm taking some of that on my palette, and then with my finger, just sort of tapping it on. There we go, so I have little flecks of glitter. So now I'm going to go ahead and finish this look by doing my hair, putting on a new shirt, and I will see you guys in a second. So this is the look. I don't exactly have long enough hair. I don't think really most people have long enough hair to get the long sort of tendrils that Usagi has, but I did try to do the little buns, my little meatballs. But yeah, it looks funny with my hair being like ending right at where my little tails are, but this is the look. It's pretty simple, pretty straightforward. nice, simple, you know, not exactly a natural looking makeup, but it is a little bit lighter, a little summery, you know, a cute Usagi look. So that's the look for today. Pretty simple, pretty easy, but I had a lot of fun doing it. Again, Sailor Moon's one of my favorite things in general. I've been in love with Sailor Moon since I was like in 4th grade. I actually had my own Sailor Moon club when I was in 4th and 5th grade, so you know. Fighting evil by moonlight, winning love by daylight, never running from a real fight. She is the one named Sailor Moon.